Gator Dave, how we doing this week, sir?
We're good. We had a great Christmas. Hopefully everyone out there had a Merry Christmas as well. So good times, man. Ready for a big week coming up, especially over the next few days, man. This is big. We're down to 8 teams. The U's in. The U's in. They're getting respect now, which they have earned this year for sure. We are Bets Utopia, your number one location for all things sports betting. Please subscribe, like, follow us. Come see us on Wednesday nights on YouTube at 8 p.m. And oh, by the way, hit us on the podcast, any of our podcast outlets, Spotify, Apple, and all of the above. Remind everyone, we're on Tuesday night this week because of the Eves. Tomorrow night being New Year's Eve. Next week, we'll have our show on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. That's January 7th. We'll chat about the big games coming up there. So, Mike, how was your Christmas?
It was good. It was good. It was solid. It was peaceful. It was quiet. Sort of sad to get back to the real world now, but New Year comes, so
It
it's all
does.
good.
It
It should
does.
be a good one.
2026 is it's just about upon us there. So, shall we jump in to the first games?
We can real quick. I just do want to shout out to us a little bit about these bowl games. You know, it's hard to really analyze with all these transfer portal dropouts, draft potential opt outs of these bowl games, guys sitting out for injuries or other reasons, coaching hires, coaching fires. Uh, Gator Dave, we are hitting at a combined 53% for this bowl season. I am sitting at 59% so far in this bowl season. So
Not
we're
too
we're
shabby.
cooking right along here. And this is unfortunately our last full slate 12 game show of the season. We will be talking next week about the the two semi games, so we'll be talking those two games next week as well. But this is the last slate, last full
Big one.
slate of the season, week 19. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
The last big one. Yeah, we got it going on. So let's hit it here, Mike. So first game we're going to look at tonight is Iowa and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt favored in this one by 5.5. The over under 46.5. This game is tomorrow at noon, New Year's Eve, 12 noon Eastern Time, the ReliaQuest Bowl, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida, home of the Buccaneers. So we got Iowa coming in at 8-4, and the Doors at 10-2. Can you believe it, Mike? Vanderbilt Commodores 10-2, and Mike. Oh, by the way, they got the number one quarterback in their recruiting class this year. Damn, what's happened? Um, Opt outs slim to none in this game. Iowa couldn't find much of anything. Vanderbilt, Eli Stovers will not be in the game. The big tight end, Pavia's big target, he will not play in the game, but everybody else is playing. So Hawkeyes, they come in the game, won 5 of 7. Their losses: Oregon by 2, USC by 5, both ranked teams. Their quarterback Gronowski, 15, 29, 63%, 8 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He's run for 491 and 15 TDs. Their running back Moulton has almost 800 yards and 4 TDs. The Iowa defense is ranked 7th, offense 119th. Mike, they're consistently over 100. Good number there. The offense stinks. Defense is always good there with the Hawkeyes. They're 9-3 against spread and 4-0 as a dog. Um, Vandy's lost 2 games this year. They lost to Bama by 16. They lost to Texas A&M by only 3. They beat the Vols by 21 in their last game, and we can kind of see where the Vols are right now. They're trying to get back in this game that's going on right now. So Pavia, over 3,000 yards, runner-up in the Heisman contest, 3,200 yards, 71%, 27-8, ran for 826. Their running back Alexander's got 560. He is, again, going to be without Stovers, but I think he'll make do. The Commodores defense ranked 56th, which is not too shabby considering, and offense number 12. So Vandy's 10-2 against the spread, 5-1 as a favorite. I think it's a pretty good matchup here, Mike. I think it should be an exciting game. Not going to be a lot of scoring, I don't think, but you never know with Pavia, right? This one played down there in Tampa, so I don't foresee any issues with weather in this one. So it should give him plenty of chance. I think he's going to have a decent game. He's going to want to show out in his last real game. I think that he's going to have his collegiate player, and he's alienated a number of folks by running his trap a little bit too much. So I think he probably want to make up for that a little bit. So I'm going to take Vanderbilt and figure they'll cover by a touchdown in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, shout out to our people in the chat, Scott, Evelyn, Hendu. Appreciate y'all for jumping in here with us on this round 2 show tonight. I'm with you, Dave. I like Vandy minus the 5.5 here. I think Pavia has something to prove in terms of his draft stock. I mean, you were looking at probably a 4th round, 5th round pick before he said that dumbass stuff about the Heisman, and F the voters because he didn't win and whatnot. He's sort of having to backtrack now, and he went from being, this underdog, sort of similar to Baker Mayfield, chip on his shoulder. Nobody wanted him. He walked on. He kind of got it out the mud, sort of a Cinderella story, to now he's, the enemy. And that's easy for somebody like Baker to do when you're in the position that he was, and you saw where he got drafted and he was able to do that. But I think Pavia is a little bit in a different situation, and he really needs to put on some serious tape, I think, in this last game. Is he going to the Senior Bowl? Do you know?
I have not heard that, Mike.
Okay.
Because I think
if I was him, I think that would be a great opportunity.
Yeah, he was still trying to fight the NCAA to try to get his another year.
No
back.
way.
But
absolutely,
not. he's not. But I think that's what's prevented him from taking the invite yet.
Yeah, I think he does come to play. I think it is going to be a defensive battle. Don't sleep on Iowa. They're sneaky. They make plays on defense. They make plays on special teams. If they're able to do that against this Vandy team, they have a shot to win this one outright. But go ahead and give me Vandy to cover the 5.5.
All right, next game. We are going Arizona State versus Duke. Duke's favored by 3 or over under 49.5. This one also tomorrow at 2 p.m. Sun Bowl, El Paso, Texas, home of them UTEP Miners. So Arizona State's 8-4, Duke 8-5. Looking at the opt-outs for ASU, kind of a big deal. Sam Levitt, obviously he was hurt. We got our all favorite quarterback, Mr. Sims, that will be running the show. On a more serious note, they're Tyson, the number 1 receiver, one of the best receivers that'll be in the draft. He's not playing. Number 1 running back, Raylick Brown, is not playing. Number 1 tight end, Shaman Mettemeyer, is not playing. Number 1 tackler is not playing. So they've got quite a few out. Duke's got a few missing, but nothing too major. Sun Devils have won 3 of the last 4 with Jeff Sims at the helm, which is amazing. They did lose to Arizona in that last game by 16. They beat Iowa State as well. Sims 886, 52%. We know what he is. We've seen him here. He rushed for 465 and 3 TDs. The running back that'll be in the backfield with Mr. Sims is Udoh, UDOH. He's got 240 yards rushing, 4.3 a carry, and 2 TDs. They're going to have to depend on their number 2 receiver with number 1 out. Arizona State 5-6-1 against the spread. Not too hot. Blue Devils come in. They've won 4 or 6. They did lose to UConn. They lost to Virginia, but then they beat Virginia in the ACC championship game. Their defense is ranked 107. Not too good. Offense 33rd. They're 7-6 against the spread and 5-4 as a favorite. Um, I think they finish off the year pretty well. I think ASU is going to be down quite a bit, a little too much, even though Levitt hasn't played in a number of weeks. I still think it's going to be tough on them. So I'll take Duke in the money line here, Mike. Good call. Good call. Hey, shout out to Public House. He is in the house, and congratulations on the fantasy win there, Public House.
Dave, I just realized I had my mic muted. So let me just real quick summarize that. I'm going Duke on the
Go.
money line. Darian Mensah coming back, committed to it next year. A little bit more stability, I think, on that side of the ball rather than Arizona State. Arizona State didn't even know if their coach was going to be there for the last month going into this one. So give me the Duke Blue Devils here on the money line.
You got it. You got it. All right. Next game we've got Michigan and Texas. So Texas favored by 7 in this one, over under 48.5. This one also is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., the Citrus Bowl in the Dump, Camping World Stadium, Orlando. So both teams coming to this one 9-3. They were the teams left out of the dance, right? So opt-outs. Let's look at that. Michigan's missing their sack leader. There could be some more at the last minute, but I haven't heard anything. Texas, oh, by the way, all their running, all their running backs are gone. All three running backs, starting running backs, hit the portal because they think they're going to get Jaden Baugh. Their number 2 receiver, Moore, he's out. They're missing 6 of their top 8 tacklers on defense. Michigan lost to number 2 Ohio State. They lost to USC. They lost to Oklahoma. There's 3 losses. And in those 3 losses, they only averaged 11 points a game. Bryce Underwood's got over 2,000 yards, 61%. Running back Jordan Marshall's got almost 1,000 yards and 10 TDs. Michigan's got the 21st ranked defense, 56 on offense. They're 4-8 against the spread and 0-3 as a dog. And this is why I did what I did on my bet. So we'll keep going. Texas lost to number 2 Ohio State. They lost to Florida and number 4 Georgia. Longhorns 35th on defense, 71st on offense. But it's going to have to be the Arch Manning show on offense because they sure as heck aren't going to be able to run the ball. They are 4-8 against the spread and 3-5 as a favorite against the spread. So I'm just looking at this thing going, damn, is anybody even going to be able to score any points? Because Michigan doesn't score a lot against good teams. I think it's going to be hard for Texas to score without all their running backs, missing wide receivers. Mike, I'm going to go the under 48.5 in this game.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet, but I think the safer bet is going to be Texas minus the 7. That's the side I'm going to go here. We just talked about it with the last game in that Duke Arizona State matchup, stability. I think the side with more stability in these bowl games with the transfer portal,
Coaches.
all these opt outs, everything else, coaches moving around in the carousel, it matters. To be frank about it, and I think there's more stability, even though those running backs are missing for Texas, and you got some of these guys that are out for both sides. I think Texas is in a much better shape moving forward in this one, and I think they're the better program overall right now. Michigan made a great hire, probably the best hire that possibly could have happened. Even if Sharon Moore was still the head coach and he's on the table, to come in there. Whittingham, I think they'd want him, and I
Oh yeah.
think they'd go get him. So this is sort of a best case scenario for Michigan in terms of where they want to go as a program. They have that disciplinary, roll head back in there to kind of get things back in the right track. But my big thing is Bryce Underwood right now. Supposedly he met with Whittingham for about an hour yesterday or so, and this is all allegedly. But he's trying to convince him to stay and to retain him to kind of build on this progress that he's had and not transfer to an LSU that he was formerly committed to, and now Lane Kiffin is the head coach of and is going to need a quarterback. I think there's a little bit of walking on eggshells there on that sideline, especially in this game. If Bryce Underwood starts to struggle against this great Texas defense, which is probably going to happen, is there a little bit of, he's still 18 years old, still a young kid. Is there going to be a little, you know what? Yeah, I'm done with this. I'm hitting the point. I don't even care about none of this. I'm out of here. Give me the more stable side, Dave. Give me Texas minus the 7.
All right, all right. Shout out to Matt, jumped in the chat. Hey, Matt. All right, next game.
Go Sparty. Go Sparty.
Sparty. Matt's a Sparty guy. All righty, Sparty. Next game, we have Nebraska playing Utah. Utah favored by 14 in this one. The over-under is 51.5. This one is tomorrow, 3:30, the Las Vegas Bowl in Las Vegas. Obviously, Allegiant Stadium, home of the Raiders, the worst team in the NFL. All right, so Nebraska 7-5, Utah 10-2 this year. Man, they were close to getting in. And that was one of the teams that I picked to Mike, are you watching? Tennessee about to run it back. Did they?
I'm sorry,
right,
Dave.
Sorry.
You got to watch that play. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to watch the play. We're watching the Tennessee Illinois game live right now here, folks, at the same time as doing the show. And if you didn't watch what just happened, Tennessee took a 6-point lead and they just kicked off to Tennessee, and then magic. Magic, Dave.
Touchdown.
Look at that. You see how that works though? You're talking about Las Vegas, and then we got a little David Copperfield going on. I'm just saying. It's beautiful. Poetic.
Yep.
Poetic.
It is. All right. Excuse me, got a cold coming on, guys. So in this game, we got Nebraska 7-5, Utah 10-2. Opt-outs. Everyone knows the quarterback Raiola is not playing. Top running back Emmett Johnson, who has 1,451 yards, not playing. Utah's missing a couple of O-linemen. So that's kind of where we are right now. Nebraska's lost 3 of their last 5. They lost to USC, Penn State, and Iowa. They beat UCLA and Northwestern. So they beat who they're supposed to. The new quarterback, who has actually been playing for a bit, Latif, he's 1 win and 2 losses. He threw, what worries me, he's only threw for 69 yards against Iowa. The Cornhuskers average 17 points per game in their last 5. I'm trying to do both. They've averaged 17 points. You got to listen, folks. 17 points in their last 5 games. Keep that in mind. And that some of that is with Raiola, and it's definitely with their running back, Emmett Johnson. Okay. Nebraska 4-7-1 against the spread, 2-3 as a dog. Utes have won their last 5 in a row. Their last loss was to BYU by only 3. Utah quarterback Dan Peters playing 2,100 yards, 64%, 22 TDs. He's rushed for 687. Their running back Parker playing almost 1,000 yards at 931. Utes defense ranks 62nd, which is kind of crappy for Utah's defense. But Mike, their offense 6th in the nation. Crazy. Utah's 8-4 against the spread, 7-4 as a favorite. Heavy losses at Nebraska. So I just think they're going to be limited on what they're going to score. I think their defense will probably hold Utah a little bit in this game. So, Mike, I'm going to go the under again. I'm going to take the under 51.5, Mike. I think this is a good call here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a defensive matchup. You kind of notice a trend too with some of these bowl games. They're mostly on the lower scoring side, and that's because a lot of these starters are, we'll say it over and over. They're opting out, they're transferring. They're just it's a new day and age in college football and bowl season. But I'm going to go with Nebraska. I'm going to take Nebraska in the 14 points. I think it's too many points here in this bowl game. Utah losing their head coach, that worries me a little bit. They're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They're going to want to sort of prove, as of a month ago, he was going to retire. He was done with football, and now all of a sudden he went and signed a 5-year deal with Michigan to do the complete opposite. So you got to think as the guys on that Utah team that there's a little bit of an ego and a little bit of a pride factor when it comes into that, and they're going to want to kind of let it loose on somebody. That part worries me a little bit in terms of the Nebraska side. You mentioned Raiola being out, but I actually do like that quarterback, TJ Lateef. I think he's actually a better, believe it or not, solution in that system for the Cornhuskers. And I just think 14 points is going to be too much. I think they're going to find a way to keep this one closer than that. I do think Utah, they should win this game, granted with everything out, on paper, but I just think it's too many points.
14's
so,
a lot. Yeah.
Give me Nebraska. Also,
I'm
that
with you.
fan base are lunatics, and Las Vegas really isn't that too far away from.
No, not at all. Not at
so
all.
there's gonna be a lot of red. From both
They can get in
sides,
their
but
trucks and
it's gonna be a lot of fans there. That look for a sellout there in Vegas, I believe.
I like it. All right. Next up, we have, this is one of them games here. So this one kind of, we got Rice playing Texas State.
Just get through it quick, Dave. Just get through it quick.
All right. Texas State's 14.5. Let me give my top line.
There
Over under
57.5.
This one is Friday. So this one's on New Year's Day at 1 p.m. The Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth, Texas, home of the TCU Horned Frogs. Rice is 5-7, Texas State 6-6. Rice is decimated by the portal. They don't even have a quarterback. So that's a problem. They've lost 3 of 5. Their offense is ranked 121. That's with the quarterbacks. They don't have a quarterback. Texas State, they've won their last 3 in a row. Their offense is ranked 7th. So, Mike, I know it's 14.5 points, Mike, but I think this is going to be a hammer. 20, 25 points. Texas State's going to win by. So, because Rice has no chance whatsoever. So, give me Texas State in 14.
You know what? All logic points to that solution. For every reason that you just stated, all the numbers say it should be Texas State. Rice is without their quarterback, who was led one of the worst offenses in the country. Give me the Rice Owls, Dave. Give me the Rice Owls plus the 14.5. It's disgusting. I'm not going to watch this game at all. This is going to be one that, you do and you come back and look at later because it's going to stress you out the entire way. I hate this game. If we had to pick one game to throw out of this 12-game slate, 100% would be this game. But give me the Rice Owls plus 14.5. Texas State are frauds. They're frauds, Dave. I'm calling it.
Okay, whatever you say, Mike. I think they'll put up some points. You didn't let me say that quarterback, Brad Jackson, has 3,000 yards and throws at 71%. Okay. All right, next game. We have Navy favored by 7 over Cincinnati. So we got a group of 5 team favored by 7 over a Power 5 team. But we'll talk about why in a minute. Over under 54.5. This one, New Year's Day at 4 or excuse me, this one's on Friday. 4:30, Simmons Bank, Liberty Bowl, Memphis, Tennessee, home of my Memphis Tigers. So what we have here is Navy is 10-2, Cincinnati 7-5. Bearcats have a few opt-outs, Mike. How about their number one quarterback, Sorsby, out? How about their number one running back, out? How about their number 3 running back? He didn't get on the plane. So I just found this one out this afternoon. Dude didn't get on the plane and declare for the portal. Defense, they lost their number 2 tackler, their number 3 tackler, their number 6 tackler, their a cornerback, a linebacker. They're decimated. That's why Navy's favored by 7. So Navy's won their last 3 games against Memphis, South Florida, and Army, which aren't, I mean, in their league, not too bad. They did lose to Notre Dame and North Texas. Of course, stability is key here, Mike. They got Blake Horvath coming in, 1472. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards. Their running back, 1,000 yards. Their offense is ranked 30th. Defense 77th. They're 4-8 against the spread, 2-6 as a favorite. Bearcats, not only have they lost all those people, but they've lost their last 4 games in a row to Utah, Arizona, BYU, TCU. They do start a backup quarterback. He's played for 4 years. I think he's thrown for like 200 yards in 4 years. So he's been sitting that bench riding it hard. They will have their running back Walker, which is going to help them. But that's all they got. Bearcats defense 99th, offense 29th. Too much loss on Cincinnati side. Give me stability, as Mike calls it, and those midshipmen to cover the 7 points, Mike.
I love it. I'm going with the same side. You know, you looked at these military schools. We saw it earlier with Army in the beginning of the bowl season. It means more to them. They're more disciplined. You don't really have to worry about if they're committed to winning the game or not, or if they have sort of these outside thoughts about hitting the portal, or if they need to opt out. I mean, these guys are committed to the cause and what they're doing, and you don't have to worry about that side. Whereas you flip, to the Cincinnati side, you mentioned all the guys that are gone for them. I think it's a no-brainer in this one. Navy -7, I think, is easy money. Navy's going for an 11-win season, which would only be the second time that they've ever done it in program history. It's a big deal. They want to finish strong. They want to finish in a big way. Horvath has a chance to go down as potentially the best Navy quarterback in history, and that's saying a lot when you look at a program that developed Roger Staubach, for example, among others. So give me the midshipmen -7. I think they get it done here against the Bearcats.
All righty. Well, we agree on that one. All right, next game. We got Wake Forest against Mississippi State. Mississippi State's favored by 3 in this one. Over under 53.5. This one's Friday, January 2nd. This is the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Mike, at Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina, home of them Panthers. Might be winning the NFL South there. So NFC South. So Wake is 8-4, Mississippi State 5-7. You're going, wow, 8-4 and 5-7. Why is Mississippi State favored? Well, in terms of opt-outs, Bulldogs, they've got a good D tackle out. Wake is missing Mr. Claiborne, who had a lot of yards this year, one of the best running backs in the ACC, and they're missing 2 of their best players in the defensive backfield. So guess who's going to be lighting it up? Mr. Shapen. So Wake Forest will have their quarterback, Ashford. He's got 2,100 yards, 59%. He's rushed for 500. They are down to their number 3 rusher now that I look at my notes here, Mike. So number 1 and number 2 are out. Wake defense ranked 26, offense 67th. You can throw the offense out the window without the running backs. Wake's 8-4 against spread, 4-3 as a dog. Mississippi State's lost 4 of their last 5 games. But Mike, those games were against Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and Ole Miss. So they had a bit of a schedule like my Gators did this year. Shapen's got 2,400 yards, 64%, 15 TDs, 8 interception, and our boy Fluff, he's run for 639 yards. Booth at 553. So they will be ready to go on the offensive side of the ball. Bulldogs rank 57th on offense, but their defense not too good at 104. Mississippi State's 8-4 against spread, 3-0 as a favorite. I think too much out on the Wake side. I'm going to take the dogs and the money line in this one. Mike, what you think?
Yeah, I'm going to take Mississippi State as well on the money line. You mentioned Blake Shapen. He is actually not going to be playing in this game. The
Whoa, I missed that
backup,
one.
the backup, Kamario Taylor is going to go, but he is a dual threat. He's got over 300 yards rushing on the ground for them, 7 touchdowns this year on the ground alone for this Bulldog team. So he's been getting snaps and he's been working with this system all year long. I don't think there's going to be any sort of slowdown at all. Mississippi State, we talked about them in the preview show at the beginning of the year. Their total win over under for the season was 3.5. They did that in their first 4 games, starting 4-0. They did finish 5-7. This is one of those teams that snuck into a bowl game without necessarily earning it. But I do think they find a way to win this game. I think they're on a better trajectory right now than Wake Forest. The biggest thing for me with this Wake Forest team also is Damon Claiborne, sort of the workhorse for that offense. He didn't really have that great of a season, and Wake Forest won a few close games, but they also lost a few close games that they probably should have won. That they just weren't able to get it done on offense, and he was a big part of that, actually, believe it or not. So a little bit disappointing on that side. I think Mississippi State is going to have the more rounded team. They're a little more committed. This one means a little bit more to them and kind of the trajectory of where their head coach is trying to put them, because they've been sort of in a rut ever since Mike Leach, has no longer been the coach there. So go ahead and give me the Bulldogs. I think they find a way to get this one done and win this one outright, Dave.
All right, all right. So what we have next is
Last bowl game.
the
Very
last.
last bowl game
That's right.
of the season.
That's right.
And then we
The
have our
official
playoffs.
last ball game. That's correct.
Yep.
It's played on Friday as well. It is Arizona, and this should be a good one, guys. We're end on a good note here. Arizona favored by 2.5. Playing SMU. Over-unders 51.5. This one's Friday at 8 p.m. The Holiday Bowl, Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, California, home of the San Diego State Aztecs. So Wildcats are 9-3. The Mustangs 8-4. Opt-outs on the Arizona side of things. They're number 3 tackler, number 5 tackler. SMU is missing number 2 receiver, number 1 and number 2 tight end, and number 2 tackler. Arizona won their last 5 games, beat Arizona State 23-7. At Arizona State, they beat Cincinnati as well. Fafita's had 3,000 yards, 64%. He's looked pretty good. The defense at Arizona, the Wildcats ranked 16th. Offense is 49th. They're 8-4 against the spread, 6-2 as a favorite. We look over to the other side of the ball. SMU has won 3 of 5. They did lose to Wake in California in their last game. Both of those were on the road. They beat Miami in overtime on November 1st. They beat Louisville. So this team's kind of been a roller coaster. Jennings has thrown for over 3,000 yards at 66%. When I look at power rankings, SMU's is 24 and the Wildcats are 47. And also looked at strength of schedule. SMU 33rd, Arizona 49th. So that one kind of pushed me in the direction of SMU in this game. So, Mike, I'm going to go with SMU, and I'll take those 2.5 points.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with SMU plus the 2.5 as well. But I also like the over here. I think there is going to be points. You mentioned Fafita, their running back Ishmael Mahdi, also that transfer from I believe it was Texas State that he came from last year. That guy can run the football. So if SMU doesn't come ready to go, especially with Fafita being able to air it out, they're gonna have their hands full on the defensive side of the football. But if they can slow down this Arizona team enough, Kelly Jennings gets going. He's had a little bit of an up and down year. I think he's been fighting through some injuries that they probably haven't really talked about too much. I wouldn't be surprised if he's been fighting through a couple, just based off the way that he's been playing. But you can also tell that SMU, the weapons that they had last year, like a Brashard Smith, who's now with the Kansas City Chiefs, um, you know, they're missing that. They're missing that explosive play on the offensive side
Yeah.
of the football that they had last year with the success that they did when they made the playoffs. I'm with you though. I think they find a way to get this one done, but it is going to be close. I think this one could go either way, and I do also lean towards that over a little bit. But I'm going to go with the Mustangs with you here, Dave, plus the 2.5.
All right, all right. I like it. I like it. All right, next game, the big boy games, the big
Here we go.
four, the
Here we
the
go.
biggies, the big enchiladas. So we're gonna start with Oregon and Texas Tech. So we got Oregon's favored by 2.5. Over under 51.5. This one is Thursday, New Year's Day, noon. The Orange Bowl in Hard Rock Stadium, home of Mike's Canes and his Miami Dolphins. So both teams come into this game. I know I had to do that, didn't I? Both teams coming to the game 12-1. Ducks only lost to Indiana on October 11th by 10. I looked at some different stats here. So I went to kind of power rankings and strength of schedule, Mike, to make my decision here. So power rankings, they're pretty close to the same. Oregon's number 3 in a power ranking, 10th strength of schedule. And I'll tell you about the Red Raiders in just a second. But we got to talk about Dante Moore, over 3,000 yards, 72%. Whittington is 800 yards, averaging 6.9 a carry. The other running back, Davison, 625 and 6.4 yards a carry and 13 TDs. So mighty offense there for sure. Defense ranked 8th, offense ranked 11th, 8-5 against spread, 7-5 as a favorite. Texas Tech's only lost against Arizona State on October the 18th by 4 points. Byron Morton, he's got 26-43 at 64%, 22 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So power ranking 5, we said Oregon was 3. Strength of schedule 52. So number 10 and 52 on strength of schedule. Texas Tech is they're 12-1 against the spread and 1-0 as a dog, obviously. I think Dante Moore being a willing runner. I look at the strength of schedule, and I also talked to one of my buddies who is a huge Texas Tech fan, and he said the offense and the quarterback, in reality, he is quite worried about. Because again, we go back to that schedule, all they played is those Big 12 teams. So he has a serious concern about it. So give me the Ducks and the money line.
Yeah, when you look at it on paper, you know, you could definitely make an argument for Texas Tech. They've had a fantastic year. They had a potential linebacker who was getting Heisman votes, um, but they have not seen skill players like Oregon all season long. You mentioned the schedule that Texas Tech has played. It's a Big 12 schedule. You know, respect to the Big 12, but they're big in the trenches. Skill players, they typically lack. Um, Texas Tech has some skill players because they went out and spent that money. Other Big 12 programs, they have not followed suit just yet. I think that's going to show in a big way down in Miami. It's going to be beautiful weather, perfect football weather. Texas Tech is wearing all black at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Granted, they're going to be on the home side of the field, so they're going to be nice and shaded instead of that Oregon side. But still, bold decision. I like Oregon. I like the defense. I like the offense. They've been the more consistent problem. I love Dan Lanning as a coach. I think he's going to have them fired up, focused, ready to go. And if they get up on Texas Tech early and kind of take that momentum away from that defense, who they've sort of relied on all season long, they've had some injuries at quarterback throughout the year. Texas Tech has. I think their third string quarterback was playing at one point. They've sort of, been able to ride the roller coaster into this playoff. I just think Oregon is on a much better trajectory. I think they sort of are the team of destiny in this one. And I think they find a way to get it done in Miami and move on to the semifinal next week. So go ahead and give me Oregon on the money line to get it done here against the Red Raiders.
I like it. I like it. All right. Next game, the one everybody has been waiting for. I'm kidding. That's not the one I've been waiting for. We got the last two, the ones I've been waiting for. So the next game is Alabama versus Indiana. Indiana's favored by 7, over under 47.5. Again, New Year's Day, 4 p.m. Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, home of the Trojans and the Bruins. Alabama's 11-3, Indiana 13-0. Not even worried about opt-outs here. So Bama's lost 2 of their last 4 games to Georgia and Oklahoma. They beat Georgia at the beginning of the year when Georgia wasn't the Georgia that we've got now. They beat Vandy and they beat Tennessee. So Ty Simpson's got 3,500 yards, 28-5. Jam Miller 500 yards. They can't run the ball. The Tide defense ranked 13th, offense ranked 74th on defense. I believe that is the worst defense. The worst offense of these 8 teams. Bama 9-4-1 against spread, 2-1 as a dog. So Indiana comes in undefeated. They beat Ohio State. They beat Oregon. They got the Heisman winner. Fernando Mendoza had 3,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, run for 240 yards. 2 great backs in Hembry at 900 yards and Black at 800 yards. The Hoosiers power ranking of number 1, strength of schedule at 18th. Hoosiers 8-5 against spread, 5-5 as a favorite. Bama's had issues running the ball. They've been exposed by Oklahoma and Georgia. I think the SIG has the recipe to beat Alabama, and I just don't think they got enough in the tank to beat Indiana at this point. So, and it could end up only being 7 points, and we'll have to take the push. But if I'm betting it, I would take that half a point and go the 6.5, right, Mike? Minus 6.5. We were doing it that way, but we have to go 7 on the show. So give me Indiana to cover the 7 points, Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the opposite side of you. I'm gonna go Alabama plus the 7. I do think Indiana is going to win the game, so don't jump on me just yet, Evelyn in the chat. I do think Indiana is going to win and end up advancing next week to play in the semis against Oregon, who we just talked about. However, I think Alabama's going to keep this one close. Alabama still has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and I think that's big going into this game against Indiana. Indiana's offense, they started the season extremely well, but the last few weeks and the last few times that they've gone against reasonably good defenses, they've struggled a little bit, and Alabama has a reasonably good defense. Indiana has also won a few close games that they easily could be sitting at 10 wins this year rather than 13, and maybe even potentially missing the playoff altogether. Whereas Alabama, on the flip side, they did squeak in there with their 10 wins, or their 9 wins rather. They made it to the conference championship game, but I just don't think. I'm not sold. I'm not sold. You look at Indiana as a whole, and they're doing things that nobody expected them to do. If you would have told me 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that Indiana would be competing for a national championship and they got to get by Alabama to do it, I don't know if I would believe you. So they're doing incredible things right now. Kurt Signetti, first time coach winning a back-to-back AP Coach of the Year award. It's never happened before. He's the first coach to do it. Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman. You know, got it out of the mud a little bit, transferred. Nobody wanted him originally, you know, his career. Super smart kid, potentially #1 overall draft pick now. My issue is they've had 3 weeks off since they've played their last game against Ohio State. And ever since that 3 weeks period, all they've done the entire time is heard how good they are. They've gotten awards. The media is hyping them up. They're the second favorite to win the entire title behind Ohio State right now. Everything's in line for Indiana. They could go undefeated, 16-0, first team to go 16-0. It's going to be tough. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I think Alabama keeps this one close. I think it's low scoring. Give me Alabama +7. I think the 7 being where it is just too much. If it drops down to like a 6, 6.5, you know, I'd be much more comfortable on that other side maybe with Indiana. But that 7, that key number, it's important. So I'm going to go ahead and rock with the Crimson Tide in this one +7. I hope Indiana gets it done. It's a great story to go from where they were as a program to where they could be. But it's a tough road ahead. That's what it's all about. But give me Alabama +7.
All right. So, next game. We got the Dogs. We got Ole Miss, the repeat. Ole Miss playing Georgia. Georgia getting 6.5 here, over under 55.5. This one is New Year's Day, except it's New Year's night, Mike. 8 p.m. It's the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the Caesars Superdome, home of the New Orleans Saints. So we got both teams come in 12-1. The Rebels only lost to Georgia on October 18th, 43-35 at Athens. They have beaten a ranked team. They've beaten Oklahoma. Trinidad Chambliss, 3,300 yards, 66%, and Mike toast. Sucks. He's also run for 506 and 8 TDs. K1 Lacey has 1,366, 5 yards a carry, 21 TDs. Very powerful offense. Ranked #2 in the land. So they got a power index of 12 and a strength of schedule of 15. They're 8-5 against the spread, 1-1 as a dog. The Dogs only lost to Bama on September 27th when they weren't the same Dogs they are now, because they turned around and beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, 28-7. They also beat Ole Miss. They also beat Georgia Tech. Gunnar Stockton, 2691, 71%. They got running back, two-headed monster Frazier and Bowens, 861 and 516. Power index 6. Strength of schedule 1. Dogs defense is finally got back where it should be, and they're ranked like 12th. They're only 6-7 against the spread, but we know that's Kirby, 6-4 as a favorite. I know it's tough to beat a team twice, but I think Georgia's on that roll you want to be on, like Ohio State was last year, and they're peaking at the right time. So give me the Dogs to cover the 6.5 and to win by a touchdown here, Mike.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those great games. I mean, all 4 of these games are going to be awesome to watch. Can't wait. It's going to be a great way to start the new year. Give me Ole Miss +3.5 in the first quarter. I think Ole Miss comes out in this one with a chip on their shoulder. They got something to prove with Lane Kiffin going away. I think that offense comes ready to go. Chambliss, Lacey's going to go for them in this one. Now, granted, he had one of his worst games of the year when they played Georgia earlier in the season, but it is hard to play a team twice. I think Ole Miss is going to be able to scheme and game plan a solution for that and be able to find Lacey some touches in the open field. I do think Georgia is going to find a way to win this one, and I hope they do because it could potentially line up a Miami versus Georgia matchup in the Fiesta Bowl next week, which would be fantastic. Dream case scenario on my end. But it's going to be tough versus Ole Miss team. Do not look past them. It is tough to beat a team twice. Ole Miss, I think people forget also in that first matchup against Georgia, they were winning going into the fourth quarter of that game in Athens, and Georgia found a way to get it done and win that one. But Ole Miss was the better team in that football game. If you get that same thing again, it's hard for Lightning to strike twice. That's all I'm saying. So Trinidad Chambliss, Kawan Lacey, they're going to be big, big, big keys in this game. I think the running game is able to get going in a big way, unfortunately, against this Georgia defense, at least to start the game. And that's why I'm going to go in the first quarter plus the 3.5. Even if I get a 0-0 tie at the end of the first quarter and it's a lot of 3-and-outs, we'll take that. But I think Ole Miss is going to find a way within that first 15 plays or so of that game plan to go down, get something on the board here against this Bulldog team, and give me that plus 3.5 cover there in the first quarter.
So remember what happened last year, right? I know I don't like talking about previous years because it's this year in college football. Ole Miss won last year. So, all right, the game. I'm gonna make this quick because I know Mike wants to talk a lot about it. We got Miami playing Ohio State. Miami not getting respect. Ohio State's favored by 9.5 in this game. Over under 40.5. This one's New Year's Eve, 7:30 p.m. Cotton Bowl, AT&T, Jerry World, home of the Cowboys. So we got 11-2 Miami. We got Ohio State at 12-1. Gains losses back in October 17th against Louisville, November 1 against SMU. They beat Pitt. Carson Beck's thrown for over 3,000 yards at 75%. 75%. The only person's better is Julian Sayin at 78%. Fletcher's run for 857 looked like a freaking scalded dog out there, man. The used defense, which was garbage last year, is ranked 11th in the land. Amazing job on the defensive side of the ball. They're 8-5 against spread. 2-0 as a dog. Ohio State's lost 13-10 in the Big Ten championship to Indiana on December 6th. Talked about saying he's over 3,000 yards at 78%, 31 TDs. Bo Jackson over 1,000. Buckeyes have the number 1 defense against the number 11 defense. Ohio State's 9-3 against spread, 7-2 as a favorite. To me, in a game like this, it's going to be smash mouth. And I think that Miami is going to play, the wind played a big factor in the last game. They missed, 3 damn field goals. It should have been worse than what it was. I mean, they dogged Texas A&M. In all honesty, I think it's going to be tough to win. I'm not going to say it's totally out of the question, but 9.5 is stupid. So I'm going to take Miami and 9.5 all the way to the bank on this one. So what do you think?
I think you're a smart man, Gator Dave. I think you're a smart man. This is one that Miami fans have wanted for the last almost 25 years. We have played Ohio State since the 2002 national championship game where we got screwed on that last play of overtime, or I think it might have been even double overtime. It was a pass interference call in the end zone. It was about 20 seconds after the play ended. Fireworks went off. Teams were celebrating. I was in that stadium. I was at that game. I thought we won a back-to-back national championship, and then it was ripped away from us. And this one's been circled in every Miami fan's bucket list ever since then. However, we have played Ohio State twice since then, for the record. We played in the shoe, and they came down to Miami, and we beat Ohio State there as well. So we sort of got our revenge, but this is different. This is for a shot to go to the semis, Final Four of the college football playoff. This one means a little bit more. And I could not be more excited for it. These teams are talking a little bit of trash. Also, Dave, I don't know if you saw that.
And seen it.
On the Ohio State side, Jeremiah Smith talking a little bit of trash
Oh,
about
I
Miami,
heard that.
saying he's not too worried about him, and also he would have actually been a Hurricane. It had Miami been good apparently when he wanted to commit, but really in reality it was Cam Ward. Had Cam Ward committed to Miami, I don't know if people remember that, but Jeremiah Smith was a holdout on signing day. He almost didn't sign with Ohio State. Cam Ward decided that he was going to hold off. He didn't know if he wanted to go to the NFL or not, or if he was going to sign with Miami. Ultimately, that pushed Jeremiah Smith to sign with Ohio State. Cam Ward did sign with Miami. It all played out how it did. But he was there very close to going to Miami. And now, on the flip side, he could have been the biggest guy in Miami. He could have been the guy. But we got a 17-year-old named Malachi Toney who is now the guy. And he's going to be the guy for the next few years down there in Miami. And he is an absolute weapon. I think that he is a big difference in this one. This is going to be you mentioned the wind last week in that Miami-Texas A&M game, and it was a big factor. I think you take a lot of those parameters away, and Miami probably beats Texas A&M by 2-3 possessions. In reality speaking, they did control them pretty well, especially down in the red zone and on their side of the 50. But this is going to be just like one of those games. You mentioned it, smash mouth, heavy defense. A lot of sacks. It's going to be whoever makes the least amount of bad mistakes, bad decisions, that's who's going to win the football game. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's what makes me nervous. When you look at Julian Sayin and what he's done this year, 78% completion percentage, setting records in the role that he did, he doesn't make too many bad mistakes. He doesn't make too many bad decisions. So Miami is really going to have to capitalize and force him to do that. I think our front seven, especially our front four on the defensive line, Bain, Messidor, they're going to be able to get after him and shake him up, but they're going to have to. If Ohio State gets up early on Miami and is sort of able to set the tone and the tempo of this game, Miami's in trouble. It's going to be a really good game. It's going to be one of those games where, it's either going to be a 3-point game and Miami might win this one outright, or Ohio State's going to win by 21 points and they're going to cruise into the semifinal game, waving Miami in the dust. I cannot wait for it. I think it's going to be a great one. I'm with you. I think 9.5 is way too many points. I would also look at the under potentially in this one at 40.5. This is going to be one of those games that if one of these teams score 2 touchdowns, they're going to be lucky. And it's going to kind of be, if a team reaches 20 points, it's a wrap. So definitely look for that side of it if you were going to look at a total side. But I think Miami plus the 9.5, I think they have a chance to win this one outright. There was also a lot of talk, too, with our offensive coordinator in Shannon Dawson. Apparently, Urban Meyer was one of the guys that kind of talked about how Miami's win last week against Texas A&M wasn't that impressive because it was 10-3. And he was talking about how, Indiana wins a game against Ohio State 13-10, and it's an impressive win, but Miami does it against a number 4 opponent, and it's a bad win. So that's something interesting, too, that there's a little bit of chirping and there's a little bit of a bitterness here with the coaches as well, kind of a disrespect. I hope that hits home for Shannon Dawson. He's played very passively this season after Carson Beck had those 2 games against Louisville and SMU where he struggled turning the ball over. The offensive scheme sort of completely changed, and they've been doing a lot of screens, a lot of checkdowns, getting the ball to Malachi Toney around the line of scrimmage, and instead of sort of taking those shots downfield, they're going to have to take those shots this game. They're going to have to draw Caleb Downs up, take those shots over the top when they can. It's going to be one of those games that they're going to have to make a play. Whatever team makes a play in big time situations, they're going to win the game. I don't know, Dave. I don't know. I hope we advance. I'm happy with where we are, even if we don't advance. I mean, it's the trajectory that Mario Cristobal has this program in. This is the biggest game in program. I won't say program history, but within the last 20 to 25 years of this program, this is easily the biggest game. I'm just happy that we're relevant again. We're talking about Miami football at the end of December, early January. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I hope it continues forever, but I'll appreciate it while I got it. So give me the Canes plus the 9.5. I think they find a way to get it done.
Cover the spread.
Give me him on the money line, Dave. Give me him on the money line. We're going to the semis. We're going to the semis, Dave. We're on to the semis.
Don't be a homer.
We're playing Georgia next week or Ole Miss. Either way, belt to all day long, Dave. All day long.
That's the homer, folks. You heard him.
All day
Miami
long.
And the 9.5, safest bet. So we're going to hope Mike's team wins. So, all right. Well, that's the wrap, folks. Awesome games. Look forward to it. Spending my New Year's Eve and New Year's Day down in Florida. So on the beach. So look forward to that with my lovely wife. We're headed down there with Rio. So look forward to spending a little time down there and then cutting back for next week to get back in the grind. Next show, Wednesday night, January 7th, 8 p.m. Don't forget. And I do want to wish, first I want to thank everybody that was in the chat tonight, everybody that's watching, everybody that's liking, subscribing, and all that cool stuff. And most importantly, Happy New Year. What do you got, Mike?
If Miami wins against Ohio State, we might have to move that show to Tuesday, January 6th. I'm just saying. If Miami wins and Georgia wins, Dave, I tell you what right now, I'm going. You can if Miami wins and Georgia wins
on Tuesday?
And because I'm flying my ass out there, Dave. It's all the way in Arizona. It's that way. You know what I mean?
When is the game?
It's a Thursday. It would be next Thursday, the 8th.
Oh, okay. Okay, folks. So you got that. If Miami wins, be ready for a Tuesday show.
Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it.
Got it.
Recap right here, folks. Shop CYA up top. Check them out. Get those assets covered. If you're going to any of these playoff games, good to get those assets covered too. It's almost baseball season. Just saying, almost baseball season. You're going to need to cover those assets when you go see your baseball teams. When you go to concerts, you got to cover those assets. When you go to movie theaters, why not? Cover the assets.
Got it, Mike.
Get them covered.
Good luck. Everyone have a super duper happy New Year. See you, Mike.
Good luck. Go Canes, baby.